Picture 5 kingdoms, 5 kings who called each other brother, palaces full of gold, ships crossing entire seas, scribes writing in a shared language. So rulers 1,000 miles apart could negotiate as equals. This was the most connected the world had ever been, in the year 1200 BCE. Now picture the same map just 70 years later. The palaces are ash. The trade routes are gone. Some of these civilizations vanished so completely, they wouldn't be rediscovered for 3,000 years. No single war did this. No single enemy marched in and took the throne. Something else happened, and historians still argue about exactly what. In less than one human lifetime, the most advanced civilization on Earth simply stopped existing. This is the mystery of how it disappeared. It took 2,000 years to build what fell. Starting around 9000 BCE, people in the Near East began farming instead of foraging. Villages grew along the Tigris, Euphrates, and Nile. By 3000 BCE, 2 great civilizations had emerged from that, Mesopotamia and Egypt. Each cycling through empire, collapse, and rebirth again and again for over 1,000 years. Sargon of Akkad built the first empire in history, then watched it crumble within 2 centuries. Egypt built the pyramids, then fractured into 200 years of chaos. Rise, peak, collapse. It kept happening. Then, around 1600 BCE, something new formed out of the wreckage. Not one empire, but 5 all at once. Egypt, the Hittites, Assyria, Babylonia, and Mycenaean Greece. And these 5 didn't just fight each other, they negotiated. Kings called one another my brother in diplomatic letters. Trade ships crossed the Mediterranean loaded with goods. A shared language, Akkadian, let scribes communicate across 1,000 miles. This is often called the first true international system in human history. By 1200 BCE, it stood at its absolute peak. It had less than a century left. Here's where it turns into a real mystery, because we still don't fully know what triggered it. What we do know, it wasn't one catastrophe, but a chain reaction across the eastern Mediterranean in just a few decades. A severe drought likely struck first. Crops failed, famine spread. People rebelled against rulers who couldn't feed them or migrated in search of food, pushing into lands already struggling. Trade collapsed, and some of the very merchants who'd once carried goods across the sea turned to raiding instead. Watch the dominoes fall. In Greece, the Mycenaean palaces collapsed. In Anatolia, the Hittite royal family abandoned their own capital. And the empire disintegrated. Waves of invaders, remembered only vaguely as the Sea Peoples, struck by land and sea. Egypt survived, but barely, and was forced to withdraw from its territories. Assyria shrank back to its core. Babylon's ruling dynasty fell. In about 100 years, one human lifetime, every single one of the 5 great powers either collapsed outright or was permanently crippled. No single villain, just drought, famine, migration, and broken trade, feeding on each other faster than anyone could respond. But here's the twist. The system died. The people didn't return to nothing. Writing, cities, law, and diplomacy survived underneath the rubble, waiting for something new to rise from the ashes. If an empire that connected 5 kingdoms and lasted 4 centuries could vanish in a single generation, what does that say about the empires we assume are permanent today? That's the mystery this channel keeps coming back to. Subscribe, because next time we go into the age that rose out of these very ashes.